What's going on? How are you guys today? We're going to do a Q&A live stream, mainly related to nutrition and current events, whatever you guys would like to talk about. I guess if you could let me know where you're at in the chat. I know it's might be a little late for some European viewers, but hopefully some of you guys are joining me today. And if you guys do have anything that's been going on in the news lately, or just really just general whatever is going on, please let me know, because I really don't watch TV. I really don't check news websites. I just kind of focus on the stuff I have to do every day, make videos every day, so I'm not usually up to date on everything going on, unless it's something like really crazy and it's all over Twitter or everyone's talking about it in my comments too. We went to see take a double look at a farm property yesterday with Adam, but it's not going to work. But what we did find out was that we're going to really look for specifically what we want, and we know exactly what we want to get now and what we want to do on the farm. So it's coming together a lot more now, and we know exactly what we need, as opposed to trying to find like the perfect property. But how are you guys today? Millbrook, New York. Yeah, Jose, you're pretty close to me. Do you eat cow tongue ever? I used to eat a lot of tongue. Not a lot of tongue, but like maybe once every few weeks or months I would have some. I haven't had it lately in a while. I used to get a craving for it, so I get a craving for it, and then I would take like some water and throw a beef tongue in a slow cooker and slow cook that, and that's really, really tasty. I've never really done a beef tongue like in a non-slow cooker method. I think I tried searing it and braising it once. It was just too tough. Have I ever dry fasted? I haven't been able to because of my impaired liver function. Dry fasting is actually detrimental to a lot of people. I can handle 3 dozen eggs a day. Are there any long-term concerns? You probably overload yourself with vitamin A very quickly. Tongue meat freaks me out for some reason. Yeah, there's a couple of cuts on the animal that sometimes give you the heebie-jeebies. The tongue can be one of them, especially if it's like comes skin on and all that type of stuff. Half a pound of your ground beef with organs with half a pound of regular ground beef a day is good. It depends. Sometimes we get the organ grind and there's a lot of organs in it, so sometimes the organ grind is too many organs. It really depends on, our organ grind is mostly liver, so usually it's something you only have a couple times a week. I can't find any grass-fed dairy organs. There's no such thing in the country. I mean, most of the time, those countries where they don't have like specifically marketed as grass-fed, usually the animals are on grass. I would think it's pretty unusual if the animals weren't on grass, and you can always ask the farmer what they're feeding the animals, and it doesn't necessarily have to be grass. It just has to be, organic or grains that haven't been sprayed with chemicals. Stomach is the most. I mean, yeah, the tripe, the tripe and stuff is actually really gross. I kind of get grossed out by that one myself. Do you ever cure any meat, not bacon, but Italian style traditional stuff? I was doing that like a couple years ago. I made some prosciutto. I did some bresaola. I cured a couple things. It's just the temperature control on the curing meat is kind of difficult. I probably get into doing it again, especially if I get a farm property. I'll definitely do a lot of cured meats. It's pretty simple. You just get a bunch of salt and pick a high quality cut that you want to salt. Just salt, spices. In some cases, some things use some wine, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing a lot of charcuterie, a lot of cured meats when we move to the farm property. Kim, I usually do consultations via my website. It's kind of hard to troubleshoot specific problems without taking like way too much time. You probably need to take some vitamin K2 and avoid. Maybe just try really really simple like lean beef and carbohydrate diet. When are you quitting carnivore diet? Probably. Uh, we're gonna give one other thing a try, and if that doesn't work, probably month and a half maybe, but definitely before the end of the year. Do you recommend guys to shave all their hair except on? I mean, I don't really have a lot of body hair, but I don't shave anything on my body. I used to I used to shave my underarms a little bit, not shave them, but like trim them because um it doesn't smell as much usually. Um, and the other main reason I trimmed them was because when you apply deodorant, you use a lot less deodorant. Because if you have like really really hairy underarms, and especially with the deodorant I use that I make, it's like I'm rubbing in this paste to like all this hair, and it's not that big of a deal because I don't have that much hair anyway. But I haven't trimmed it in a while. It's usually a convenience thing. Like if it really starts bothering me when I'm putting on the deodorant, then I'll trim it. Eczema is 100% caused by Wi-Fi. My diet's clean as hell. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is a really really big cause for some people. I don't usually mention. I guess I haven't been mentioning that much on the live streams. But most of the clients I work with, reducing the Wi-Fi and the EMF is one of the main priorities. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. But people are very surprised where they think they have everything correct in their diet, and most of the time it's not even related to the diet. Hey Frank, why did you start your 36 live stream 360s at 3:30? Well, first of all, I didn't start the live stream at 3:30. I started the live stream at 3:40. And gematria, when they use the numbers for symbolism, it's not usually that obvious. It's not all like 33 for Masonic rankings, and it's not all like 666 is the devil's number. They usually use different numbers. I don't really look into gematria because I'm not good at it. I don't have a good brain for that type of stuff. But this one guy was on a live stream. The one part I remember, he was talking about like when the Patriots came back at the Super Bowl, 25 points. The date was 2/5, February 25th. Like Tom Brady in gematria equals 52. There was a whole bunch of numbers, and once you realize how deep the numbers and the Masonic symbolism goes, literally every orchestrated event in history, down to the people's names and their families' names and the days they say they died, are all like Masonic rituals based on numeric systems. It's just really crazy. Again, I don't have the brain for it because these Masons poisoned my food and my baby formula when I was a kid. But it's pretty clear that Christians are freaking out because they're saying America will get invaded before Monday. Yeah, there's a pretty large secret society community that's controlling all of the Christians and keeping them in fear. If someone has a low enough IQ to be brainwashed into religion, generally speaking, they have a low enough IQ to believe the other stuff that comes along with it. My favorite side of the fortune on the fortune cookie are the number. Gematria Effect News seems to be legit. I don't think he's legit, mainly because I reached out to him and he didn't respond, and he seems a little fishy, and the guy's making a ton of money. I think, that guy Gematria Effect News seems to know a lot about Gematria, but it doesn't seem, I think he might actually be just one of the inside guys of the secret societies that knows it and is just trying to make money off of it and make a living off of it. And he could be control. I think he very well might be controlled opposition, but whether or not that matters, it's it's one way. This is the thing. The gematria stuff if you point it, it's the easiest way. It's one of the easiest ways to prove that we're all being controlled by a bunch of psychopathic lunatics. Um, and when they do the gematria stuff, it's not really like super crazy specific things. They're not like there's always like a lot of words that line up with certain dates, and it kind of makes sense. Christianity always devolves into doomsday talk. Because as I just said, they're controlling those people that fall for the religion, and they're one of their goals of controlling people is keeping people in fear, because if people aren't positive, and if they keep the majority of the people on the planet in fear as opposed to positive and motivated, and by keeping people in fear, you keep people down instead of empowering them. Why don't you join the Freemasons to know what's up? Because they're a bunch of I mean, first of all, Freemasonry is, they worship Satan. like they don't, like, their god is Lucifer. Like they literally worship Satan. And every single person I've met that I know is part of Freemasonry, these people aren't anything special. They're not different than me or you. They think they're special, but just like everyone else, some people are intelligent, some people are attractive, some people are good people. Most of the Masons aren't good people. I would assume 99% of them aren't. And the ones that I do know and that I've had the pleasure of interacting with have mostly copied my information, stolen my ideas, and used their Masonic connections to promote themselves and make money off of my ideas. So you can make anything mean anything with all kinds of gematria. Well, look, you could say that with gematria, but when they start publishing, the thing is, it's definitely correct to some degree, because like, for instance, there's 33 degrees of ranking in the Freemason Secret Society, and in a lot of these news articles there was 33% unemployment, or there was 3.3% increase in there's a very obvious symbolism sometimes where there's 5 or 6 news articles that all use the word 33, but it's not just about like, I don't even like naming the secret societies specifically, because there's many different ones, and there's ones I don't know about, and there's a lot of people in secret. I mean, worldwide, there's millions and millions of people in secret societies of various rankings. And then if you ask yourself, well, how do that many people keep a secret? Well, I mean, just if you're wondering how many people can keep a secret, hospitals were empty 6-7 months ago, and there are no whistleblowers, So how the fuck were there millions and millions and millions, probably dozens of millions of healthcare workers in the United States, and no one spoke up about it? Are you ready for flat currencies to go into hyperinflation? People have been saying that, but I don't know how truthful that is, because people aren't making money, really. I'm keeping a few layers of aluminum mesh between my laptop and my lap. You have to just turn the Wi-Fi off and direct wire the laptop. Most laptops have a US. Well, not most laptops. Some laptops have a Ethernet port that you can connect the Ethernet from the router to. You can turn the router Wi-Fi off and then turn the Wi-Fi on the laptop off. 6 million Masons worldwide. The Masons are little puppets of the big fish above them. Well, you say that, but the higher ranking elites are also high ranking Masons. Killing is my business, and business is good. You don't make a lot of money doing that. Unless you're in healthcare, that is. Do a video on fluoroquinolones, absolute poison, exactly like Accutane. There's a lot of substances in plant foods and foods in general, even animal foods, that get stored directly in the liver. Like people could say, oh well, carrots have so much beta carotene that if you just drink carrot juice for a month straight, you're gonna get toxicity in your liver. And yeah, but if like because the carotene content's so high, but like if you ate a bunch of red, I ate red meat every day in incredibly high amounts for 5-6 years, and I got iron toxicity in my liver. So like same thing with anti-nutrients. Like people can argue all the time, oh well, plant foods are super high in anti-nutrients and they take minerals out of the body. Yeah, well, again, like by having an imbalanced diet, which is the carnivore diet is heavily imbalanced, and I've learned more about that this year than any other time. And one thing someone and I kind of missed this in the I even said this. I said this and I knew this in the mineral wheel video that phosphorus is antagonistic to calcium. But I'm curious how big of a deal that is in the context of a carnivore diet if the phosphorus content is so substantially high that you have dry mouth. Yeah, I wasn't hydrated earlier. I woke up with a dry mouth for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't sleep. My sleep schedule's been so fucking off. What gematria do you see in the 100 million? For communism killed 100 million in the 20th. I don't really know. I know I watched a video where Bill Gates had his own king salmon made from fresh seawater or something like that. How possible for an ordinary individual to raise salmon healthily? One, you have to have access to a body of water. Salmon can live in both saltwater and freshwater, right? Because they go up streams and stuff. I didn't really know that, but I'm assuming that's correct because I know that salmon can live in the ocean, and I know that salmon can go up streams. I mean, how would you raise fish in a healthy way? It wouldn't be cheap. I mean, I'm okay with sharing this information because I don't think the average person would be able to afford to do this. And fish farms don't do this because they're doing too high volume production and they want to make money on the fish and sell the fish for cheap. But hypothetically, if you had your own fish or your own water access and you just fed the fish, then you could do that. But where are you gonna get like tons and literally tons, like thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds? How much fish you're gonna buy? In order for it to be economical, you'd have to buy probably at least a few thousand pounds worth of fish, and it would cost you at least a few $1,000s, and you need a place to put it, frozen, like to freeze it, to because you have to order. It's very to raise your own fish. It would be difficult, mainly because you need the means to store a large amount of fish feed, because it's and if you buy fish feed that doesn't go bad, then I guess you could just let the fish rot and see if they eat it. I mean, look, if I get a body of water on my farm, I'll probably try to raise some fish at some point. I'll probably kill a bunch of fish, to be honest. Can I eat organic einkorn sourdough when I have leaky gut? It's not really about the specific grain. It's more about that the grain's organic and prepared in a reasonable way, and that the flour is freshly milled. So you don't necessarily want einkorn wheat, but I would say like some type of organic white flour is good. I think Dollar Vigilante, all these people, Dollar Vigilante, all these other YouTube channels that get a ton of views and that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, they're all controlled opposition and they all funnel people into certain ideas. I know. I mean, for people to actually try to gaslight my viewers and say, "Oh, Frank is a sellout," and then try to say that, "Oh, go watch this person's channel." Like, who's the person getting censored here? Like, who's the person that's viewership has gone down since they've been working? Who else on YouTube works harder and produces higher quality videos and more content and then gets less viewers? That doesn't happen. That's not a normal thing. It's like that's like you don't get drafted from like AAA into the MLB for being a shitty for having a lower batting average, you know. generally speaking, when you put in the time, the work, the effort, and everything, unless someone is intentionally stopping you, you're going to be successful. Best cut of meat to prevent iron overload. It's more about making sure you're getting enough of the nutrients found in plant foods over that period of time. So if you follow a carnivore diet for 2, 3, 4 years, then you're going to have severe nutrient imbalances. Depending on what you're eating, that'll gauge how severe the nutrient imbalances were. But the only way to correct that is to, well, if you're at the point where you've already been carnivore for a few years, you have to usually take supplements and be very extreme with the changes to get better. Usually what happens is people have health problems like the iron overload, and then they have to go extreme to get better. Remember you used to do 5-hour live streams? How you did it? How did you do it? I think I used to do. Yeah, that was a while. That was when I started live streaming. I think I still have those live streams. They're just private videos on my main channel. When I started live streaming, I think I did some 4 or 5 hour live streams, but I don't think most of them were that. I think most of them were around 3 hours. But we usually did 3-hour live streams. But we were able to do the 3-hour live streams because I had like a lot of viewers. You got 3, 4, 500, 600, 700 viewers, and there were a lot of questions, and it was like, it was pretty engaging, and that was also when like the carnivore diet was kind of new and fresh, and people had a lot of questions, and there weren't a bunch of other people like stealing my information. Now it's kind of like, well, the carnivore diet thing is kind of on the back burner. I've been pretty clear throughout my videos over the years that you should probably be eating some type of plant foods. Other people have started stealing my ideas and entering the carnivore hemisphere. So, and I think a big part of that is me calling out. I think a big part of that is as when I started calling people out and telling the truth that everyone's pretty much special interest funded influencer. Then they started censoring my channel. People stopped getting notifications. It's a bunch of cumulative things that resulted in that. If you guys are asking me, do you think that XYZ is healthy? The question to ask about the food is, was it sprayed with chemicals, and how do you feel eating it? If the answer to those two things is okay, then generally speaking, it's okay to eat it. Will you be growing any plant foods? I do. I just don't know if it's worth it. Like, I like to grow my own grains and my own food to make food for myself and to sell to people, but from a monetary perspective, I think it would actually be better to purchase the organic grains from someone growing them on land in a cheaper part of the world than to grow it yourself. That's usually how it works. Even with dairy cattle, it's cheaper to. It's usually cheaper to. You could literally buy the grass. Especially in the Northeast where land's expensive. It's cheaper to buy organic quality grass and ship it into your farm and feed the animals with that than it is to have the animals actually grazing the land. From a cost perspective of the land, most of the time these farmers have owned the land for generations and generations, so they don't really care about that. So they'll graze the land. But dude, some of these farmers in some parts of New York and stuff, they have like their 150 acre plot of land is worth 1.5 mil, and they're baling hay on it. And I've asked these people, what the fuck are you doing baling hay on your land? You make $25 a bale. You're making like a few $100s a month baling hay on a $1.5 million plot. What the fuck are you doing? But that's how these people are. They don't care. That's what they do. They own the land. They don't think about the value of the land versus what they're making on it. They just think about what they can make using the land. And it's actually really insignificant. What chemicals do you think prevent people from getting their optimal marble appearance? It's just everything cumulative. If there's a pollutant in your lifestyle or diet and you keep taking it and taking it, whether it's from the water or the food, it's going to cause stress and issues and oxidative stress. I remember when you were on Raj's stream and ate raw kidney live. Yeah, a couple years ago, I was on Twitch. I was on a Twitch streamer's channel, and they had me on a dating show. But it wasn't really for the dating. It wasn't actually, no, it wasn't a dating show. He does a dating show now, but it was just they usually just had people on to ask them questions and talk about stuff. And they had me eat some raw meat on the live stream, and um, then they had me on again, and I was gonna eat some lamb brains or lamb head, but they didn't want to do it because they thought it was against TOS. But what's actually funny is then there were people eating animal brains like a month ago on Twitch. So go figure. But that was a while ago. The antibiotics group, fluoroquinolones, cyprolevaquin. I mean, pretty much any drug or any antibiotic is going to destroy someone's health, whether it's from an actual mechanistic standpoint or if it's like the effects, the intended effects of the drug, or if it's just the actual negative things that are in the drug itself outside of the active components. Because there's a lot of chemicals and additives and drugs that make you very sick. Why do you think these alternative health ads focus on one evil chemical at a time, like glyphosate? Well, they couldn't tell you the truth because then every business would be out of money. And it's to sell you a product. Like, oh, 1 week fluoride is bad, so make sure not to make sure to buy my toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it. Yet the person isn't telling you that, there's fluoride in all the tap water. There's probably fluoride in the bread you're buying in the supermarket. It requires a complete and dramatic lifestyle change to remove all the chemicals from your diet and lifestyle. So if these people that are in control, they give you some truth, and then they feed you the bullshit product they want to sell. Oh, the reason your skin is bad is because you have poor collagen synthesis. So here, take this crappy collagen supplement. But then they don't tell you that eating steak is infinitely better than taking a collagen supplement. The reason they feed bits and pieces of information here and there is just so they can continue to make money. If they do what I did and they gave everything away at once, they wouldn't have any money to make. That's why I still drive a 2001 Ford Taurus. If they tell the truth and they actually try to make people healthy, and they give away a lot of information, then people don't really need the person anymore. But when you feed them bits and pieces of information, they can continue to just make money off of different things. Do you think you're gonna stop with YouTube? I mean, I never had any plans to stop YouTube. I mean, the censorship and all the the censorship is just getting worse and worse. The harassment isn't as bad as I used to. It just seems like they hit a switch and started just really, really censoring my channel even heavier. So it's tough to say if there's any potential for growth. I mean, since we took a month off the live streams the past for 1 month for the jaw surgery, like we have 80 viewers today, which is like the lowest viewers I think I've ever had on a live stream since I started my channel. I don't think I've ever had this lower viewership on my streams ever, ever, even when I started my channel. So we'll have to see how the next month or two goes with the live streams. If the next week or two with the live streams doesn't really start ramping up, maybe I'll just start live streaming once a month, and then we'll see how it goes. There were someone doing literal cocaine lines on Twitch cesspool. What I noticed and what I figured out was the popular Twitch streamers are all secret society members. There's a reason they get popular. I know for sure, and I've seen them, and I can tell mainly because they're usually boys pretending to be girls or girls pretending to be boys. That a lot of these popular Twitch streamers are, again, secret society members, and that's why they have high viewership. And if you wonder, oh, why is this person popular? Well, they're secret society members. So Now, what I don't know is, how does it work if you're is it possible for a regular average person to become a popular streamer on Twitch? Are all of the popular Twitch streamers secret society members? I don't think. I don't know. I'm not sure. I would assume that. Um, I would assume what the order of operations is: someone starts getting popular on Twitch, and then they get approached to join a secret society, and then they get more popular, and then they get to the higher levels. But every single platform is censored. You don't just people are taught that success is obtained by hard work, by having a goal, by dedication, and that type of stuff. And it depends on what your definition of success is. If your definition of success is having 10 million subscribers on YouTube, or being a famous actor, you're thinking the wrong thing. Which cell phone has the lowest Wi-Fi? The one that's turned off. Go back to live streaming on your main channel. I don't really want to. I mean, it's tough to. It's hard to do that because live streaming on the main channel throws off the view algorithm. Um, that being said, I wasn't doing much worse when I was live streaming on the main channel. The live streams did really clog up the live streams really clogged up the videos, because when you do a video every day, you have like, when people go to look at your channel, there's like a lot of videos to watch. So if you have a video every day and then I had 3 live streams a week on top of that, it's just too much content. Try replacing breadcrumbs with pork rinds. Really good. Breadcrumbs are healthier than pork rinds. Like, I should just start outright saying that in my videos, like when I do recipe videos. Breadcrumbs are without a doubt healthier than pork rinds. And even if you had really organic, high quality pasture raised pork rinds, it's probably still just too oxidized. So even the organic bread was healthy. Like, even if you had a really high quality product, it might not be healthy. I know you're being sensitive about how else are you being attacked. Well, the attack, there have been various harassment campaigns against me, by different YouTube influencers that would normally get someone banned. Um, Mostly trying to discredit my business by mainly discredit my business. Their main thing they were doing was discrediting my business by making fun of me for being gay or this or that. Um, the I forgot what they did when I made that first video calling out the carnivores. I forgot what they did. I think they just most of them kind of ignored me. And then I started getting harassed by, oh, you're gay, you're this, you're that. And then I started getting, what was it? That was the main thing. Their main thing was just to call me gay and attack my personal character. And then when I started the fitness stuff, they made fun of me for being like weak and skinny. And now what they do is, when usually people comment on my videos that I'm on steroids. Now their thing is I'm on steroids. So that's their thing now. But there's always like a small group of, I would say, several dozen people that are being paid to post certain comments on my videos and on any advertisements I do. You could remove the live stream from your channel after they're over. People usually want to watch them. And even if you remove, I think the problem is, even if you remove the live streams from the channel once they're over, it does still mess up the YouTube algorithm. I mean, it's like what do you consider a high level of harassment? I mean, like, these people have found like my personal phone numbers, and these people have like found my parents' personal phone numbers, and I can't really use any social media without being harassed or found by these people because their network is so large. That's why I usually have to be careful when I meet people. That's why I don't really meet people that approach me for any business or any sort of thing. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of funny to me because I'm literally like am I like the only person that's ever posted a steroid drug test on YouTube and they're accusing me of steroids now? It's fucking comical. I'm literally like the only person. It's funny. I make a video calling out like I basically in one of my videos I didn't call out like that wasn't what the video was about. But in one of my videos I basically said like for the most part all of these YouTube influencers in fitness aren't natural because if they were natural, they would have posted drug tests. And I showed drug tests that I got over the past year, and then these idiots are still and then if someone points a finger at you and accuses you of something, it's difficult. If someone fires the first shot, you're screwed. And it's a good analogy because if you get shot in the chest, doesn't matter if the person was wrong for shooting you, you're probably dead. There's a saying, what is it, shoot first, ask questions later, or whatever, or like what is it, like a dead person can't testify. There's a good reason that people try to fire the first shot. And and that's why back in what was it, when I called out the carnivores, which was a while ago now, like early last year I think, when I called out the carnivores, the reason I made that video was because I DM'd I think I didn't know as much about them at the time. If I knew as much, I wouldn't have DM'd them. I would have just made the video. I DM'd one of them. I forgot what I said. It was something along the lines of I basically told him I know this is what I basically insinuated in the email was that I know that all of you carnivore diet influencers are part of secret societies. I didn't specifically know that or say that at the time. I said something along the lines of insinuating that. And that's what the person I messaged probably thought. And then that person immediately made a video on their YouTube channel, "What's wrong with Frank Tufano? He sent me a message threatening me." And they pull the first trigger, and I'm kind of screwed in a corner explaining myself. So, when people accuse me first of taking steroids on a larger platform, it doesn't even matter that I've already talked about not being on them. Whoever has the loudest voice in the room tends to win. Is Simnett Nutrition on steroids? Uh I would assume is might be probably is, but not like he's probably on a maintenance dose or something. Because he had a very dramatic and unrealistic fitness transformation, but then his progress kind of stopped. I mean, it's always pretty obvious what their goals are. What's gonna? I mean, they're basically for the fitness stuff. What I envision is gonna happen is probably gonna happen. They're just gonna every single video I make related to fitness, they're gonna spam my video and spam dislikes on it to like pretend like I don't know shit about fitness, and it's working because they have enough people doing it. And then eventually, when I give up on fitness, or even when I don't give up on fitness, just whenever I give out some good fitness ideas or really good tips, someone with a larger fitness channel is just going to copy my ideas and put it on their channel, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it because I'm not in the connected network, and those people don't know about my channel. You think you get enough EPA and DHA eating pasture-raised animals, dairy, and eggs, but not fish? Well, there were a bunch of. Well, one thing that's interesting is there were a bunch of vegans that started eating eggs, but only when they started eating fish did they feel like their brain was rebooting. So I'm under the assumption that if the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in the food isn't good, then you don't benefit from the omega-3s as much or at all. I think omega-6 blocks omega-3 pathways in a pretty high capacity. So, and the point is there's no eggs that have the correct omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, at least until we start the farm, Frankie's free range farm or whatever. What are my plans for next week? I just try to take things. I mean, I have a general idea of a few things I need to get done this week, but I just try to take things day by day. Do steroids mess up your natural testosterone for good? I don't really have an answer to that because I don't know a lot about steroids because I never intended on taking them. What I do know is that testosterone is produced in several different glands in the body, primarily in the testes. The adrenals also produce testosterone in some capacity. And if you take testosterone, your testicles shrink, so they're not producing testosterone. If you stop taking testosterone, does your natural testosterone production eventually return to normal? I'm not really sure what the answer to that is. I think it does in some capacity, but it's not 100%. And I know there's a bodybuilding drug called HCG that allegedly prevents your or restarts your body's but I don't know. Again, I don't know the mechanisms of the drugs, and I don't really know if I can. I don't have the ability to explain. Okay, well, Frank, if you just like someone might have a pretty good question, like, all right, Frank, well, what if someone does one steroid cycle and gets unnaturally strong, and then just never does them again? Do they return to their natural testosterone levels? I'd like to know that myself. I'd like to ask. That's a question I would like to ask someone that knows a lot about steroids. What I would also like to ask them is, and I think I'm assuming someone is intelligent enough to know if you're truly 100% a natural human being after you do certain things. The only thing I've ever taken is creatine when I was younger, and I didn't even do creatine. If I did creatine for this transformation, it would have been pretty crazy, actually. I probably should have done creatine just for like 2 or 3 months, just to put on the extra 5 or 10 pounds, and then have the water retention, and it would have been more dramatic. I don't know anything, but there's this one specific drug. Well, no, when I had low testosterone a couple years ago, um, I wanted to. I was trying to find the answer to that. I've always been curious about the answer to that question myself. If there was a natural, like, the thing is, you have to look at it. You can't look at steroids as steroids because, there are substances that increase performance that aren't steroids. So then you ask yourself, okay, well, if taking creatine isn't natural, and then it kind of draws a fine line. Well, taking steroids isn't natural. Well, doing this is. Where do you draw the line on what is natural versus not natural? And then people tend to draw the line of when they're physically injecting something into their body. But, what if I told you the reason that my testosterone was high on some of my tests was because I was eating beef testicles? People think I'm fucking crazy, dude. I literally told people in a video that beef testicles have bioactive testosterone, and when you eat them, it increases your testosterone. And I bet there's a bunch of Masonic pricks eating testicles right now trying to figure out how they can make money off of my ideas. We sell testicles on Frankie Eats Free Range Meat, and I wanted to do. I literally gave. I think in that video I did on the beef testicles for natural testosterone boosting, I think I literally put the blood work in the video and showed you guys how my testosterone went up. I wanted to do it again just to keep a track record and show you guys that it works, but I can't because it gives me insomnia. The testicles and testosterone make my iron overload really, really bad. So I can't do it. To me, it's very unusual. To me, it's very, very, very unusual that I come out with, I come, and this wasn't my original idea. I found out about the testosterone in beef testicles. There was what the fuck was this guy's name? There was some crazy dude this crazy Middle Eastern guy commented on my channel. Like, oh, maybe if you eat some testicles, you'll grow a beard like a real man. But he was serious. He wasn't joking. Like, it was this Middle Eastern guy. And I think I even mentioned his name in one of my testosterone videos. And no, in a video, I don't know if I deleted the video or not because it might have been before June 8, 2018 where I wiped my channel. Where I was tasting beef testicles, I mentioned him in the intro. One of my commenters, that's how I found out about it. And I didn't believe him. And it took me a couple months to try it. And I got the testicles, I tried it. And then I got the blood work and I noticed. But for me to bring that information to a popular platform, to me, that's like crazy, 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 insane, like multi-million dollar idea. I mean, the testosterone industry for men is fucking huge. And if people knew they could eat raw animal testicles, people would probably be taking tons of supplements. The problem is the accessibility is really low. And in my experience, taking the raw testicle is way more effective than any supplement. The problem with a freeze-dried powder is, one, it's in a gelatin capsule. So if you have to take like 10, 15, 20 of these gelatin capsules, and you don't want to be consuming that much agrochemical waste in capsules. Nobody's eating freaking testicles except you from your crazy ass, you absolute moron, lol. I guarantee you some fucking famous bodybuilding asshole is going to be selling testicles within the year. So the key to avoiding iron overload on a high red meat diet is to incorporate high quality plant foods as well. Yeah, and to not necessarily eat a crazy, crazy amount of meat. Well, I mean, a lot of it is, a lot of things in health in general, and a lot of the ideas I've gotten, no, I have a lot of creativity myself, and I come up with a lot of things on myself on my own, and I try to give credit where credit is due. But generally speaking, even when I do get an idea from someone else, it's not the exact same idea. Like, one of my viewers pointed out the Morley Robbins root cause protocol stuff on my channel, and the idea that most people are overloaded with iron and they have copper and certain mineral deficiencies. I talked about that myself, with nutrients energy before, and then you have to balance nutrients. But he found out a very specific nutrient problem. Thing is, that root cause protocol is not good. I mean, it might work for some people, but there's some very apparent problems with that root cause protocol that don't work. Andrew, I don't know what that adapter is. I've used some adapters for my phone. Ryan, I have a couple different videos on water. Extract testicle oil and inject it. The testicles don't have just I don't think a hormone is always fat soluble. I don't know if you can do that. Extract testicle oil and inject it. If the outlet I'm grounded to is connected to another outlet with a device attached to it, and that device shorts and has to ground fault, am I in danger of being an electrical shock? No, because it's attached to the ground. As long as it's grounded, it's grounded. HCG is a hormone produced by cells that surround a growing embryo, which eventually forms the placenta after implantation. So is HCG the hormone that creates the testicles in babies? Or is it in all babies? Female, female. What are the symptoms of being in a high Wi-Fi environment? General inability to think over, general ability to put long thoughts together, to focus on a topic for a long period of time. Very high Wi-Fi environments usually get headaches, nauseous, insomnia, sleeping problems. The Spartans used animal testicles as a stimulant. Wild animal testicles were highly prized, but it worked. The Greeks in general used it. Yeah, they probably didn't have like iron toxicity in their liver, so they could eat the testicles. Do you still make bread for the family? I was at Whole Foods and I found a brand called Bread Alone. It's a bakery in New York, and they make the bread how I would make it. Well, not well, as close, pretty close to how I would make it. So they have a naturally fermented sourdough, which is literally just wheat bread and sourdough culture, and they make it, and it's organic and it's great. Um, so they have that at Whole Foods. So if my family wanted to eat quality bread, that's what I would get them. But the only thing I would do myself in addition is grind the wheat myself, which I don't think they do. So Ryan, I'm not an electrician, so you shouldn't be asking me these questions. But to my understanding, the only way you can get electrocuted is if a lightning bolt strikes your house. What are you going to do if the U.S. goes into full lockdown and becomes a police state? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's. I think what they're going to continue to do is just use the psychological warfare in the media to keep the majority of the population in fear. And they're going to use that psychological warfare to force people to get injected. And then the real police state is going to happen when they start turning on the Wi-Fi towers and people have the chips in them, and it's going to be a pretty quick transition. I don't really know. I don't know specifically what's going to happen, but for someone to say that the for someone to say, "Oh, America's just going to become an outright police state," I mean, I don't know. Are they going to stay? Like, it's not just going to happen. Like, they'd probably stage an event. They generally warn people. They give information out. They usually something is going to happen. It's not like the United States is just going to become a police state. They're going to have to stage an event or do something or this or that to do that. I read something about a girl who's allergic to Wi-Fi and had severe skin issues, so she moved up into the mountain. You're not allergic to Wi-Fi. It's like saying someone is allergic to soy. No, you're just more tolerant of the oxidative stress and inflammation caused by it. Different people have different tolerances. It's causing damage to anyone that can. Wi-Fi causes damage to everyone. It's just a question of how much you're getting damaged and how much can you tolerate it. What medication did you take in the hospital for jaw surgery? They gave me a little morphine to make the pain go away, and they sent me home with a bottle of Tylenol. Are the Rothschilds Jewish or are they pretending? I think the Jew stuff might be incorrect. I think it doesn't. It's just stuff that doesn't matter. It's a distraction. A lot of most things right now are distractions. The real difficult. The only thing you have to really do, and the only thing the thing that would make the world a better place is to get people to understand that there's a bunch of crazy psychopaths in charge and they shouldn't be in charge anymore. That's all you really have to understand. But in order to convince people of that, you need to use different things. I mean, gematria is the good one we mentioned earlier. Explaining secret societies to people, the symbolism, this and that. But most people aren't open to explaining it, and even if they are, they would rather live in their easy life mindset. She committed suicide in the end, though, the Wi-Fi girl. Well, if someone is very sensitive to Wi-Fi and they got publicity, I would even assume that the psychopaths probably targeted her with the Wi-Fi. And even when she moved into the mountains, they could have targeted her with different types of magnetic fields. It's very possible. Unless you sleep in an aluminum box or if you don't have a meter to test the levels, you don't know if you're getting fried or not. How do you lose fat while bodybuilding and still have energy to work out and not lose muscle? Well, either way, you don't lose muscle. It's just a question of, do you have enough energy to do a high volume workout routine? That's difficult to do. The mountains are the worst for targeting. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming if you live on a mountain, they're going to find you pretty easily. I mean, calcium antagonist is magnesium, so you want to take more magnesium. How long have we been going today? Yeah, we'll wrap this up in a few minutes, guys. A few minutes and we'll go. I'm going to go back to sleep. You plan to have kids? Yeah, honestly, I was gonna buy a farm and buy a Russian girl and have a family, but I don't know how that plan's gonna go, to be honest. Honestly, I honestly, if you want to have a family and you want to have a significant other, I don't see why you would date the majority of American girls as opposed to just getting a girl from a different country. Honestly, my experience is insane. It's all my dating and relationship experiences with some of these girls is just, maybe it's because I'm different and I have like a different focus and I'm intelligent, but it just seems bi Russian girl. You guys know what I mean. You know what I meant. My new school is in Stockholm City, and I get a weird headache and feel lightheaded almost every day in school. Do you think it could be? No, that's Wi-Fi. That's a weird. By weird headache, it is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi gives you like a certain type of tension in your head. It's not. It's almost not even a headache. The headache will come, but the Wi-Fi gives you a tension in your head. Ask Roosh V how that worked out for him. What did he buy, a Russian girl? You're looking in the wrong places, Frank. There's good women out there. Yeah, I'm looking in New York. Don't trust the Eastern European brides, Frank. They're after your money about 80% of the time. Wait for the right woman to come along. Be patient. Well, do you know? But I don't really know the specific. I was kind of joking because I don't really know the specifics of that. Do you just buy a Russian girl? Do you have to get married to her? Can they just come over here, or do they need like a visa or something? That sounds like a very specific experience. Guys just wanted to be waited on by Asian girls. Well, what does that mean? This is devolving into kind of nonsense, guys. So we'll wrap this up in a bit, very soon. You get taller during puberty from drinking a lot of raw milk. Well, your height's usually determined by a lot by protein content in your diet. Protein in the diet is the main driving factor behind animal protein is the main driving factor behind height. You pay her, she stays with you. Is that how it works? All right. Well, if you guys want to send me tips about dating. You guys seem to have a lot of experience with dating Russian mail order brides, so you guys can fill me in on that next live stream if you'd like to. But we're gonna wrap this up for now before we go into any more nonsense. If you guys have any questions, just post them on my main channel, Frank Tufano, and I'll get back to you by tonight.